Blink. Why am I wearing a different shirt? And why is my tie out of place? Why is my stubble longer? And why am I holding this medieval styled sword? Oh yeah, hi everybody. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 30 of Discovering Doctor Who. Today's episode I'm going to be talking about is Blink, one of the most notorious, well maybe not notorious isn't the right word, I'm just going to toss that aside because that crookedness is really getting on my nerves. But it's definitely one of the most well known, and it's an episode that more than one person told me to watch before I even really started getting into the show Doctor Who. And I actually didn't. As with the rest of the episodes, I've been watching them incrementally, one in front of the other, all in order, that's the right way to put it. But yeah, this episode is probably one of the most well-known, and for good reason. It was written by Stephen Moffat, or he's the primary writer of this episode, and as usual with, I guess, pretty much all of his episodes that I've seen so far, he really knows how to hit the right notes, especially when it comes to the creepiness factor, and that definitely shines through in this episode. So let's get to, of course, the best parts of this episode, which are the good, or no wait, that's how I do my movie review. So let's just talk about the best parts of this episode. The first of which is the story and the characters overall. And I'm just going to be really general overall with what I talk about here, but just, I feel like, especially in comparison to the previous Dr. Light episode, the story was able to pull me in more. I felt more of a connection to the characters. Like in the previous Dr. Light episode, the only character I felt any real sort of connection to was the girl, and that's just because I remembered her from the Harry Potter movies. But both of the actors in this episode, well, the primary characters, I guess you would say, I was like, I didn't really know who they were. As far as I know, no one's going to really come in to have anything to do with future episodes of Doctor Who. And I felt, attached to them. I really grew to like them. I grew to enjoy their interactions with each other, and even the characters that weren't there for very long, like the officer that ended up getting sent back through time. I really liked him, and then we see him as an old man, and that was just really interesting and just very strange. I like the way that time worked within this episode and the way it affected all these different characters. It was really interesting, and not to mention the way that the Doctor, his primary interaction in the episode, which was really just a recording on a DVD, that was brilliant, really. Just the way that all played out. But I'll actually get a little bit more on that in a few minutes. My second favorite part of this episode was the transcript scene. Actually, I guess I am talking about that sooner than I thought. The transcript scene where the girl is talking to the Doctor, sort of, and the guy is writing down the transcript of everything. In case you're wondering why I'm just saying the girl and the guy, I forgot to write down their names, so I apologize. But that was just a brilliantly written scene, the back and forth between the Doctor, the girl, and then the guy that was jotting everything down, and the interaction she would have with him, and then the way the Doctor would respond to it. And then, Martha's little pop in here or there throughout the recording. That was funny, but just the scene overall was brilliant. And really that leads up to the best part about this episode overall, the angels. Now I will say this, the angels throughout the beginning of the episode, the way that they would appear and then disappear, it was very creepy, well, it would send chills down my spine. But there was one moment, and I'm sure you all know exactly what I'm talking about. It's immediately after the transcript scene. And I knew something was coming. Like, I just knew that all of a sudden an angel was going to appear. And even though I knew it was coming, even though I knew the jump scare was about to occur, as I was watching the episode with my wife, and she was sitting on top of me, and when the angel just appears and it's like, well, not snarling obviously, but it was just like, I jumped. I mean, I jumped and gave an audible like, ah! That was just so well done, and it was just one part of these angels that was just amazing and so well done throughout the entire episode. Just the different positions they would be in and the way they would look. And it came to the point where, you know, they didn't even have to have those disgusting, snarling faces on to seem so terrifying and creepy. Oh, and the part of the episode where all the angels or the statues are surrounding the TARDIS when it's in the, I guess it's when it's in the police department, maybe that's where it was, but wherever it was, that was just a really, that was just spine-tingling. And I just have to say that, I mean, I don't know how the angels are going to appear and show up throughout the rest of the series that exists, but, I mean, this is definitely one of the most intimidating creatures that has come to Doctor Who so far. I mean, right alongside the Daleks and the Cybermen, this is easily one of the most deadly, in a sense, but frightening, certainly, characters. Probably, like, actually, the first legitimately frightening characters that I have experienced on this show. I can say that without a doubt. The first legitimately frightening antagonists. Alright, let's get into the parts about the episode that did bother me. And there were a few, you might consider them to be relatively minor, but they were things about the episode that irked me a bit. The first of which actually has to do with the angels. And it's this. Before I watched this episode, I was under the impression, like, I knew of the angels, but I was under the impression that the angels killed people. Like, you know, if you didn't see them, they would sneak up and they would kill you. Which they do in a sense, but when I found out that they don't actually kill a person, they send them back in time, and then the person lives their life in the past, maybe close enough to where they can actually end up in a similar time period, such as the officer when he actually does die in the episode. But knowing that the angels don't actually kill people took a little bit of the fear away from who they were. Now, when we get the full explanation from the Doctor as to what they actually do, you know, that helped a little bit, but overall, the fear factor was definitely lessened when it was revealed that they don't actually kill people. I mean, maybe that's just more of like a morbid thing on my side, but I don't know, it didn't have the same sting. But that did not detract at all from how freaking frightening they are when they're on screen. Now, the second problem I had with this episode had a lot to do with why the Doctor couldn't just save people. And I know he even explains it in the episode. It has a, well, sort of, it's sort of a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, or is it timey wimey, wibbly wobbly? Whichever it is. But he's like, the people are sent back in time, so they become a fixed point in time, so he's not able to help them get back to their original time. I don't know, it was just really weird, and I don't even, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure if it's exactly explained, but it does bug me that all of these people have been affected by these angels, and knowing that the Doctor isn't able to save them, even knowing that he's meeting up with some of these people in the time periods they've been sent to. So I don't know, that was just a part that really bothered me, and for me was just really annoying. But again, those are just my issues with it. Not major issues with the episode at all overall, because I have to say, I mean, my overall thoughts of this episode, it was phenomenal. It's easily one of my favorite episodes now. I mean, overall in structure, it may not be as good when you give it an objective look and compare it from compare this episode to others. But as far as just overall enjoyment, and I love horror movies, I love horror games, so just the way that Moffat's writing was able to spin the story of this episode and bring these evil characters to life was just phenomenal, and I absolutely loved it. I don't know, once I do my seasonal roundup, I don't know where this one will show up exactly. I can pretty much guarantee you it'll be in the top 5 episodes. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, it was just, I really liked it, and I watched it a second time even, and it was just as good the second time around. It wasn't until after recording this that I actually realized I forgot to mention the favorite quote of the episode. And I think it was partially because I wasn't actually going to say the best quote of the episode. Instead, I will tell you what it is. And it is the Doctor's "Don't Blink" monologue. And I really feel that me trying to imitate it, or or read it off would, 1, not be doing it service, and 2, would risk me kind of going on too long and throwing out my voice, even though I did ramble, or will be rambling at the end of this episode. But if you have not seen that yet, 1, you need to watch this episode, and 2, if you haven't watched the episode yet, go find the monologue online on YouTube. It is there. I'm pretty sure the BBC has it on their YouTube channel. Excuse me. But anyway, I'll get right back into this since this will be cut strangely into the rest of the episode later. Now, this episode didn't really leave any questions for me overall, because it's like it doesn't really tie in to the overall plot of this season from what I could tell. It was obviously just a standalone, but a very good one. But the one question it did raise for me was, when are the angels going to appear again? I'm sure that they are going to appear again, because I've seen pictures online that showed the angels in positions that I didn't see in this episode. So I'm sure they're going to appear again. Is it going to happen during Tennant's run? Is it going to happen, or it's not going to happen again until Matt Smith takes over as the Doctor? I'm just really interested to see and interested to find out what the angels will be doing at that point, because I love them, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. And everyone, thank you very much for watching this brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. I apologize if my voice has sounded strange at all or kind of scratchy. I'm actually getting a pretty bad sore throat and somehow fighting through losing my voice right now. Stay hydrated, people, it helps. But yeah, there's 2 things I want to say that's left, obviously. The first of which is that the next episode is going to be about the episode called Utopia, and that's the beginning of the 3-part season finale for this season, or for this series. And at the suggestion of some of the commenters, I am splitting it into 2 parts. Although usually I've put multiple part episodes into one. I'm going to do the first episode, Utopia, and then the final 2 episodes of this season will be covered in one Discovering Doctor Who episode. And secondly, if you like the shirt that I was wearing last episode, let me get that right now. If you like this shirt, the flow of time is always cruel. And obviously this has to do with Legend of Zelda. If you don't know who that is, this is the character Sheik from Ocarina of Time. And the shirt is designed by Amanda Flagg, and I've actually purchased a few of her t-shirt designs. I actually had her commission a picture of me and my wife for our anniversary this past month. And I really enjoy her as an artist, so I'm going to put a link to some of her shops where, well, mainly the shop where you can get this shirt, if it interests you at all, because, you know, flow of time, it has something to do with Doctor Who. But also just her shops in general, and I'll also link to her Twitter. Go check her out, interact with her. She is an awesome person, fun to interact with on Twitter, and I highly, highly recommend her art. She is just she's a phenomenal artist, and I really enjoy her work. But everyone, again, thank you very much for watching this brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. Let me know what you thought about this episode below, even though some of you have already done so. And let me say one more thing before I sign off. Please do try to avoid too many spoilers for upcoming episodes. Now, if you're talking about the episode that's being discussed, that's perfectly fine, because I make it no secret that there will be spoilers within the video itself. So if there's going to be spoilers for that episode and episodes before, no big deal. But with future episodes, I am trying to keep things somewhat of a surprise for myself going forward. So I have had some of the commenters warn me that, you know, someone might have said a spoiler and not to read it yet. So if I haven't replied to your comment yet, it's because I've been waiting until I finish this episode and start actually getting into the final few of this season. And I've actually been rambling on about that too long now, but everyone, thank you very much. I appreciate all the interaction, I appreciate all of your comments, and I will always do my best to reply to you, to reply to any comments that are left on the video. But I've been rambling forever, like for 2 minutes now. Everyone, I will see you next time on the next Discovering Doctor Who. And like I said before, go check out Amanda Flagg's art. It's awesome! Bye.